Welcome back to Gruesome Magazine. Tonight we're reviewing Raptus, coming to streaming on Tuesday, January 27th, 2026.
Gruesome Magazine.
All right, joining me tonight is my co-host, Paul Cardulo. I need to come up with something. How you doing, Paul?
Beep, boop, boop. Zzz, zzz, zzz. I'm doing fine, Doc.
You are indeed. You are indeed. I'm excited to talk about this film. When we get into our review of Raptus, we're going to give you our first impressions. Then we're going to talk about the film for a little bit, and then we'll wrap things up with our score, 1 to 5, 5 being the best. So let's. Well, before we do that, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe and share with a friend, because each click will help us find another horror fan just like you. All right, let's get into this. We're talking about Raptus. It is written and directed by Bennet de Brabandere. Brabandere.
That sounds good.
I'm going to say that's what it is.
That works for me.
The cast includes Xenia Solo, Nolan, Gerard. Let's start over. The cast includes Xenia Solo, Nolan Gerard Funk, Zion Forrest Lee, and Christina Cox. The synopsis: in the wake of a savage attack, Sarah Mathis orders a new form of android therapy called Raptus and reveals a path to recovery with a twisted surprise around every corner. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So, okay. I'm just going to start with saying that while we were watching this, I couldn't help but compare it to Companion from last year. And everybody, I think you'll go into it feeling that as well, but it is very different. It's different tonally, it's different context and everything. So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about Raptus. So,
and I think you looked up, they actually filmed this before Companion.
They did.
Right. So as well. So I mean, it's a robot companion, but I think
that's where it stops. Yep.
That's where it stops. Yeah.
That's where it stops. All right, Paul, let me know what your first impression was of Raptus.
I liked it. I think it tried to do some things. It did do some things. It was an interesting take on trauma and dealing with trauma. There were some tonal things that I think we're going to get into that were. I'm not sure how much they helped or hurt, but otherwise, I like that. That was really well done, especially for a lower budget film, being able to present near future without feeling too fake. It was just enough in the future to feel, that this thing this companion would be plausible. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. How about you, Doc?
I did as well. And yeah, you're right. We were noticing that while we were watching it, that they don't oversell the future. They just have a couple things here and there that are look new and different. Yeah. And I that was very effective. I thought, because it didn't make me feel like like we're watching a far out sci-fi film. It was more grounded. Right, we're at that. I love the performances of our two leads and some of the supporting characters. The trauma is might be very triggering to a lot of people out there, and they double down on it.
They do,
because the trauma is the story and how Sarah Mathis deals with it and tries to come in terms with it.
Kind of that, but she also had
a little bit more.
She had a goal in terms of something she was trying to remember, basically.
Right. Yeah, because she also develops agoraphobia. She can't go outside.
Right.
Because of the fear of this. So it is a journey for her, and I appreciated that. But the trauma is of a certain level. In my eyes, a very certain level. And then there's this odd sense of humor, and we'll get into it just as I finish it up. That really walked the line, but never crossed it.
No, it didn't. And
Really
there was one particular part which again involved some additional trauma for a character that could have been. They chose wisely to be serious in that aspect, and
right.
they could have, like, yes, the humor was, that walking that line, but it did present some kind of, we were kind of like, wait, this is a little odd.
But I do want to point out Mr. Funk,
Oh yeah.
who plays Raptus, the purchase toy, and I thought he did a great job portraying this character.
Oh yeah, well,
Right?
he looked it up. He's a gymnast, right? I think he was originally a gymnast,
I think
a diver.
you told me that, yeah.
Yeah, so he had that physicality, which was good because he needs that. But he was also, I mean, it involves, I mean, they showed, like, even the poster, she has like the little sliders for his personality, and so he has to embody different aspects of his personality, and he does a good job of that switching. And I think that, and it made it feel real, and it made it feel. I mean, it really felt. It felt good. I mean, it felt not felt good. Oh, it felt good. It was. It felt. It felt like the character was
Yes.
believable. It was very believable, but also the lead, Xenia Solo, is that the actress's name?
Xenia Solo, yeah.
Xenia Solo. She was fantastic because she has to portray not just that the trauma, but the character dealing with the trauma and trying to almost push her boundaries and trying to overcome. You could see her fighting that. And you could see, like, that character arc worked really well. I thought that was. I mean, without the strength of those two performances, this would be
it'd be silly as AF, right?
Yes, yeah. Because the humor is there is some humor. It took us a second. We're like, wait, is this funny at this part? Because you're like, you just witnessed some serious trauma, and it was. And again, there would be some people who may be triggered with this. So, trigger warning. A great site for trigger warnings is Does the Dog Die? Which there's not a dog in this, but doesthedogdie.com, you can actually look up different trigger warnings without getting spoilers. And so this would be one that if you feel you might be triggered by, especially something related to trauma, this is a good one to check out because that's it, like you said, Doc, it is the story. It's not just peripheral to it. It is the story. So
yeah, which which makes it far more interesting, from the character perspective, not from the trauma perspective or the act of the trauma.
Right. Oh yeah,
specific, but from her, just how she, how it changes her and how she has to change with it as we go through our story. And I was really impressed with her performance as well. There was times when she easily, I mean, obviously it's work, but to us it looked easy that she just showed so much emotion of the fear and being not the fear of going outside, the fear of what's happening, and the mistrust of other people that she encounters and stuff, and it's just all in her face. I mean, she did a great job.
And you could also see the character struggling with that, not the character accepting this is going. It is like, okay, I need to fight against this. This is something I want to get over, and you could see that character struggling over that, which I think was really good.
Now, some of her choices came across, the character's choices, came across as questionable for a little bit.
Yeah,
but and if you feel that way as you're watching this, give it a moment, because after a few, a little bit after that, it made sense, and it was, I see what we're doing, and this is really, really cool. I want to see how she keeps up with this.
I mean, we're watching it.
Where's this going? So
I kept thinking, it's going to go this way. It's going to be this way. It's like, no, you're just being, an idiot, Paul. You're not paying attention. And it's the reason she's doing this. You find out these reasons, and then it makes more sense. It's not, they're not necessarily keeping it hidden. It was just, I was a little dense and wasn't paying, didn't quite get it at first.
I mean, I was, yeah. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, like, why is she doing that? That doesn't. And it's like,
yeah, it seems.
This is her reasoning, and it really makes sense.
And then it kind of felt, that might be a realistic portrayal of what somebody would want to, but it's not everybody, but somebody would do to kind of, I can't say what it is without spoiling it. I'm
right. But yeah, because I mean, yes, exactly.
I also want to take a moment to single out Zion Forrest Lee, who plays Murray, who is the person that delivers the I keep calling it a toy, but it's the robot, android companion, whatever you want to call it. And his character, is comes off one way at first, and then they double down on that. But then he turns out to be something entirely else, and I thought that was really fascinating. It's just it's a supporting character, so you don't dive deep into it. But I thought that was an interesting way to handle that character.
Well, I think it played with our expectations, which was great, and I think it worked really well. Yeah.
And it's mostly, for the most part, I mean, there are some other shots outside the house, but it's mostly set inside the house. What, like 90% of it is inside the house?
Oh, yeah.
If not more.
Inside the house, yeah.
Yeah. And the house is a great location, and I never felt lost.
No.
I understood where everything was, and they shot it really well. And I can imagine it was a challenge because there's a lot of glass. And I'm sure the cinematographer and some other people were like, oh, but they're pros. They knew how to do it. Right? So.
Yeah, no, it worked really well. And it was a neat house. Though my mom would complain that she doesn't have shades on a lot of the windows. It is just like, you're like, I don't know. I think I want some more privacy. But yeah, it's a gorgeous house. But yeah, you get that sense of the geography of the house. Mm-hmm. So which worked really well.
Yeah. So I was impressed with this. I'm trying to. There's something that bugs me a little bit about it, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, and I don't know if it's the tone of it or the limitations of the budget, or something. But that aside, just that weird little notion in my head, I really enjoyed this. But let's go ahead with that. Let's go ahead and give our scores 1 to 5, 5 being the best. Paul, what is your score for Raptus?
I'm going to give it a solid 3.5. I mean, I was tempted to go a little lower, like I said, because of the tonal issues were a little off for me, but the performances and what they were trying to do, and I like the way it worked so much that I'm like, and I think maybe that choice for the tonal might have been because, wow, this is some really heavy, intense stuff. Maybe we need a little bit of relief. Again, I'm not sure how well that works, so I was a little tempted to go, but 3.5 because, like I said, I really liked the performances. I liked what they did with it, and so yeah, that's what I've got. How about you, Doc?
Yeah, I think 3.5 is the perfect score for this. I mean, I was tempted to go 3.75, but 3.5 is, which is a solid score.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is an entertaining film. I was engaged. I was entertained. It was thought provoking in my head.
Yeah.
It's like you said. The only thing is like the intention of the subtle humor. I feel. I'm debating. I've been debating about this since we watched it.
See that? Yeah.
Is it needed or is it too much? And I keep leaning toward it's needed.
Well, I mean, that's what I was thinking.
The tone, right? Because otherwise it'd be overbearing, right?
Right, and I think maybe that was their choice on that. I think it was the choice of, we've got to make this a little lighter. There's got to be some moments of joy in this. Otherwise, it would just be like, because it's dealing with trauma, it would just be too oppressive, right?
It would, and it would be hard to watch.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a choice. You could go that way, and that's the purpose of it.
Right.
But I think they walked the line. I was never offended by the
no
compared to the trauma and what they're dealing with. But yeah. So 3.5 I think is a perfect score. And with that, it is arriving on streaming January 27, 2026. And I think if you have the chance to watch it, but if you think you might be triggered, check dog, was it Does a Dog Die? Check
Does
that
the
out.
dog die.com is great
Yeah.
because it has
I would
large
recommend
number
doing
of
that.
triggers, and it's a good way to look at it without getting too many spoilers.
Mhm.
And that way you can see if there's a particular thing that may trigger, you can check to see if it's there.
Right. With that, Paul, thank you for joining me.
Thank you
As
for having
always.
me, Doug. As always.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's say good night.
Okay, good night, everybody.